time to. Sweetheart is bleeding in the snow cone. So smart, she's leading me to ozone. Music's a great communicator. Use two sticks to make it in the nature. I'll fit you into penetration. The gender of a generation. The birth of every other nation. Look your way to go to meditation. This chapter's gonna be a close one. Smoke rings, I know you're gonna blow one. All on a spaceship persevering. Use my hands for everything with fearing. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. Mom tops are happy when they feed you. J-pops are flyers in the treetop. Birds that blow the meaning in the beat. The world I love, the tears I trust. To be part of the wave can't stop. Ever wonder if it's all for you? The world I love, the chains I hop. To be part of the wave can't stop. Come and tell me when it's time to. Wait a minute, I'm passing out, win or lose, just like you. Far more shocking than anything I ever knew. How about you? Ten more reasons why I need somebody new, just like you. Far more shocking than anything I ever knew. Right on cue. Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chopped off, he says I'm gonna win big. Choose not a life of imitation. Distant us into the reservation. Default the pistol that you pay for. Discount the feeling that you stay for. In time I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west end. Knocked out before you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go write your message on the pavement. Burn so bright, I wonder what the wave meant. Kickstart the golden generate hub. Sweet talk but don't intimidate hub. Can't stop the gods from engineering. Feel no need for any interfering. Your image in the dictionary. This life is more than ordinary. Can I get you maybe even three of these? Coming from a space to teach you of the Pleiades. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. This life is more than just a read through.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, as always, the one, the only, the motherfucking General Miguel Magallon. And as always, President, Founder, CEO of Magallon Entertainment. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast and welcome back this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm going to give you my initial reaction to the CPI report. I am going to tell you what my initial response was to the CPI report. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you what the fallout is going to be from the CPI numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, you already know what time it is on the podcast when I'm about to teach you some shit, when I'm about to educate you on shit, and when I'm about to drop some knowledge in this motherfucker. You already know what time it is on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, get the pen in the pads, get the pen in the pads, get the pen and the motherfucking pads. And let us begin to learn this evening. So, we got the CPI numbers, this morning, and of course they came in slightly cooler than expected and online, basically as expected. And we talked about this last night on what my predictions was going to be about the CPI report. I don't want to say I was wrong. I think I was wrong and I was right. And I think the Bulls are happy and the Bills are mad. I think the Bears are happy and then I think the Bears are mad. So what is my initial reaction to the CPI numbers this morning? My initial response goes as follows. I mean, it's okay. I see, man. No, I don't know. That's basically it. That's my reaction to it. Who gives a fuck? And the reason is because I don't think the CPI numbers this morning, or even the last few CPI reports, to be honest with you, I don't think they really solved anything. I don't think they've, officially ended the war, and especially not between the Bulls and the Bears. And I don't think we have confirmation to the upside or to the downside yet in terms of stock market action. Now, when you look at the economic data, that's a whole different ballgame because the leading indicators are flashing red, screaming red. I mean, they are fucking begging for mercy and just like hoping and praying that the Fed stops raising interest rates. So the leading indicators, right, not the lagging indicators, which is basically the CPI reports that the Fed, holds on and clinches to, but the leading indicators and even the real-time indicators, if you look at those, they're all flashing red. They're screaming red. I mean, they're screaming bloody mercy. They're begging for a pause on interest rate hikes. They are praying to God that the Fed doesn't do another interest rate hike. In terms of the economic data, I mean, they're saying enough is enough. No mas, stop it, bro. You're fucking killing this economy right now in terms of leading indicators and even real-time indicators now. Whether you're looking at mortgage applications that are continuing to fall off a cliff, whether you're looking at manufacturing indexes and manufacturing reports, whether you're looking at housing permits, whether you're looking at manufacturing, manufacturing purchases, right? When you're looking at LEI, which is basically leading economic indicators, when you're looking at the Philly Fed Index, when you're looking at a lot of construction indexes, I mean, future work in this country is basically about to disappear, and purchase orders are starting to dissipate left and right, especially among the middle class. And you're just seeing a lot of pain, suffering, death, destruction, and annihilation when it comes to certain industries and certain parts of this economy. Again, when you talk about a recession, we have to remember that not every industry, not every sector in an economy is impacted the same by a recession, which is why we always say like 2008, 2009, that was really hit hard in the real estate industry. But there were other parts of the economy and other parts of the country that were still fairly resilient and semi-strong, even during the great financial crisis. Most of the pain was mostly in the real estate industry. But then you go back to the tech.com bubble, and the tech.com bubble, that's when tech companies, right? .com bubble, all these .com websites, that's when they were hit the hardest. Real estate still went down a little bit, but really not much. You know what I mean? Un itty bitty chiquito, not, a tiny bit. But real estate didn't fall off a cliff back in 2000, 2001. And then you look at every other recession in American history, going back to the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. It feels like we almost have a recession every decade in this country. I think the report is since 1929, we've had 14 recessions in American history. Think about that. Let me say that one more time. Since 1929, we've had 14 recessions in American history. And this next one, this pending one, I should say, where all the leading indicators are screaming and flashing red. This would mark the 15th recession in American history. 15 recessions in less than 100 years? Yeah, on average, pretty much every 10 years, we go through a motherfucking recession. Again, not here to tell you the way the world should be, here to tell you the way the world motherfucking is this evening. So, with that being said, I think when the CPI numbers, got released today, I think it was a mixed bag, and I think a lot of market participants kind of just went eh. And the reason we went eh is because there was a lot of bad things in there and there was a lot of good things in there. And the bulls are only looking at the good things and the bears are only looking at the bad things. And so I think when it comes to the inflation story and the war on inflation, and again, for those of you guys who listen to the podcast every night, we've talked about the war on inflation time and time again for 12 straight months now. And we came out with the 4-part series clip last year: War on Inflation Part 1, War on Inflation Part 2, War on Inflation Part 3, and War on Inflation Part 4. And what do we always say? Because you guys know me, I'm a bear, I'm a super bear, I'm a motherfucking mega bear, especially when it comes to the economy, especially when it comes to the American consumer, and especially when it comes to the average fucking American. Because what do we say about the average American, ladies and gentlemen? The average American does not own a Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. The average American has to take the bus to work. The average American has to carpool to work. The average American this evening, especially looking at some of these, repos going on across the country, some average Americans are having to walk to work, tomorrow morning. So that's really the average American. It's a person who struggles paycheck to paycheck, a person who's barely able to afford to pay their bills, a person that's barely paying the rent on time, the person that's getting flooded with fucking loans and credit card debt, and people who are just fucking, like, they are really struggling right now. They are barely fucking making it. And you see it between, balances on credit cards, with cars getting repossessed, with people's hours getting cut back at work. Again, the only thing worse than losing your actual job is getting your hours cut back at work, because then you have to get a second and a third job. And as a reminder, the average American right now has to work 3 jobs. They work a week job, they work a weekend job, and then they have a side hustle on the side. Feels like everyone has a fucking side hustle these days because they need to, because they need that money to survive. The average American has to work 3 part-time jobs right now just to fucking pay their bills on time. 3 part-time jobs. It's not because they want to. It's because nobody's hiring full-time. Why? Because they don't want to pay you the fucking benefits. That's why a lot of you guys, especially with limited education and work experience, when you guys go out there to like Indeed.com, Monster.com, ZipRecruiter.com, what do you mostly see? Especially when you have no formal education, no advanced education, and no extensive experience in the workforce, what do a lot of millennials and Gen Z see? They see minimum wage, part-time bullshit, and more part-time bullshit. And so that's why a lot of Gen Zs now graduating high school across the country, they feel like they have no choice but to go to college, right? Even if they have to start off at a community college. Why? Because it feels like minimum wage is like, if they don't go to college, they're just going to be trapped with minimum wage forever. And nobody wants minimum wage forever. Nobody wants to work on their hands and knees to the day they fucking die. So that's why a lot of people feel like this social pressure where you have to go to school, you have to get a degree. It's not enough to get an associate's. It's not even enough to get a bachelor's. Now everyone needs a fucking master's. Everyone needs a PhD. Everyone needs extensive work experience. Everyone's got to start networking early. And it's not always about what you know. Sometimes it's about who you fucking know. And that is kind of like the real picture of the job market, the labor market right now. And so that's what I think frustrates a lot of Americans. It's like, fuck, you need a bachelor's degree just to work at McDonald's these days. I mean, damn. So, and that, again, that frustrates a lot of fucking Americans, because they want to be able to make good money, but they don't want to have to go to school for 10 years just to make, 30, 40 an hour. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you don't go to school and you don't get that advanced degree, you don't get the extensive education, you don't get all the certificates and licenses, then what are you stuck with? $12 an hour. And it's not even going to be full-time. It's going to be that part-time bullshit, America. So, I think that's kind of like the real picture, the real landscape of the American economy from a real average American perspective. Again, the average American does not drive a Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. They don't drive a Lamborghini. They don't own a Bugatti. They don't have a Rolls Royce in the fucking, parking lot. They don't drive a fucking Tesla. They don't got a fucking, none of that. They drive a fucking Buick. They drive their fucking grandpa's Volvo. Like, that's what they're doing. They're taking the bus to work. They have to carpool to work. Some of them don't even have fucking work. They're just staying at home, bullshitting all day. So that's really the real average American, not the motherfucker with the PhD who drives a Tesla to work every morning. That's not indicative of the real average American. Okay? Again, the average Americans try not to get evicted in this country. That's what the real average American is. So I think sometimes that gets distorted. Sometimes we just look at all the rich people and think that's like what the average American is supposed to look like. When in reality, the average American is when you go to the poor side of town and everyone's broke as fuck, ain't got no money to spend and just trying to figure out how they're going to eat dinner that night. That's the real fucking average American for you. So anyways, going back to the CPI numbers, I think the reason a lot of the bulls and the bears and the market participants and a lot of professional investors kind of looked at the CPI report and the CPI numbers, inflation numbers, right? I think most of the bulls and the bears just kind of went, eh. Why? Because there's a lot of good things and there's a lot of bad things. Let's start off with the good things and let's give an applaud to the bulls because I know they're really happy this morning. The bulls are happy because inflation is coming down. And I think inflation has been coming down, and I think we've been saying on the podcast that it's going to continue to come down because I think overall inflation is going to continue to fall off a cliff. Let me say that one more time in case you missed it. I think overall inflation is going to continue to fall off a motherfucking cliff. And to be honest, it looks like it's been coming down for like, 6, 7 consecutive months now. And guess what? I think it's going to come down for another 6, 7 consecutive months now. I think inflation is going to continue to fall off a fucking cliff. Why? Because the way that the Fed, right, the gringos with all the dinero, the people at the Federal Reserve, the way they calculate inflation is they take everything into account. They're looking at, car prices, used car prices, commodity prices. They're looking at oil prices. They're looking at food prices. They're looking at healthcare prices. They're looking at, They're looking at services, cost of goods, vacations, hotel prices, airline prices, fucking, Knott's Berry Farm prices, Disneyland park prices, Six Flags park prices, restaurant prices. They're looking at all prices. They're looking at the price of everything in this country. And the reason that's important is because when I look at a lot of things in this country, and I don't want to say they're not important because they are important. It affects us all. But there's a lot of things like used car prices, just to hit on that for just a minute. There's a lot of things like that are coming down, and I think they're going to continue to come down. And it might not be in a straight line, but I think it's going to continue to come down. And used car prices is a good example because why are used car prices coming down across the country? And I know they just ticked up again, I think, in the last 2 months. But for the most part, for the last 7, 8, 9 months, used car prices have been falling off a cliff. And I think they're going to continue to fall off a cliff. So if you're looking at buying a used car this summer, I would probably wait until the early fall because I think used car prices are going to continue to tumble. But why are used car prices falling off a cliff? Do you guys have any idea? The reason is because everyone in the middle class, particularly the lower middle class, and even the upper middle class, all these people in the middle class, or as like we like to call them on the podcast, the upper middle room. All these fucking pendejos, babosos, pinches zánganos, all these motherfuckers here. They were spending all their stimmy money, all their boosted unemployment money, all that PPP money. They were using all that free motherfucking stimmy money during the pandemic in 2020, 2021, and they were going out and they were buying all these new cars, right? So that way they can post about it on Instagram. Look at me, look at me, look at me. And a lot of people were buying new cars, fresh out the fucking lot, fresh out the dealership, fresh rims and everything, todo, homie. And they were buying that shit during the pandemic. Well, now here we are. And the economy's slowing down, work's slowing down, their bank account's getting smaller, their savings account is dissipating, their 401k is getting liquidated, their Roth IRA is non-existent. All of a sudden, their company's doing layoffs. Some people are getting their hours cut back at work. Some people are being told not to come into work. All of a sudden, things are going from bad to worse. All of a sudden, things are slowing down. All of a sudden, a lot of people in the middle class aren't making as much money as they once used to. They're still making money, but they're not making the money as they once used to, right? Not like they once was. Now, all of a sudden, they're making significantly less money, about 20, 30, 40% less since their peak high, right? So now a lot of these people are looking at their car payments that are fucking, what's the average car payment in this country? I think it's about $1,000. I think the average car payment in the country is $780. But when you include the car insurance is like $150 to $250 a month, depending on how old you are and where you live and what's your, driving record, driving history, all that bullshit. But the average car payment is about $780 in this country, and then you include the car insurance, and that's how it comes out to be about $1,000. So most people in this country are paying $1,000 between their brand new car and their car insurance, right? Well, now all of a sudden, a lot of those people in the middle class and even poor people, to be honest with you, they're looking at that car payment and that car insurance payment that's $1,000 every month. And again, now they're getting their hours cut back at work. Now some of their coworkers are getting laid off. Now their supervisor's starting to get worried and scared because of the economy. Consumers aren't spending money like they used to. The economy's in a downtrend. Small businesses aren't getting lines of credit anymore. And it's harder and harder and harder for businesses to get any kind of loan right now. now, especially from a bitch-ass regional bank, because some of them are about to collapse soon and die. Not all of them, but some of them will. And so now all credit unions, all regional banks, all of these smaller financial institutions across the country who are the ones who support small businesses the most, trust me, it's not JP Morgan's bitch ass. The banks in this country, the lending institutions in this country who help and support small businesses the most is not the big banks. It's actually the little banks, the regional banks, the credit unions, the fucking, you know what I mean? The regional financial institutions. So now all of them are being tighter and tighter and tighter with money because we're in a higher interest rate environment and the Fed already told us we're going to be higher for longer. So now a lot of small businesses are struggling to survive right now. And that's why they're having to lay off their employees. Again, most Americans don't work for a large business. Most Americans work for a small business. Small businesses account for like 70% of work in this country. People don't realize this, right? Especially when you include the entrepreneur themselves as well. So now that a lot of these small businesses, are noticing that their customers aren't spending as much as they used to, and they don't really got it like that no more. They just thought they did because they were getting all that stimulus. Now all of a sudden small businesses are struggling, and that's why they have to lay off some of their workers. They have to make someone who's full-time and tell them that now moving forward they're going to be part-time. Now all of a sudden it's harder and harder for them to survive because now it's harder for them to get loans in order to survive. And that's why you're seeing bankruptcies among small businesses start to skyrocket. And a lot of businesses are just shutting down shop because they don't make enough money in this environment to survive. It's just, the juice ain't worth the squeeze right now. And so now a lot of small businesses are basically just closing down left and right across this country. And I think you're going to continue to see that, and it's going to continue to accelerate to the downside going into this summer, in my opinion, and especially early fall. So, in that kind of environment, right? Everything's slowing down. Everything's, going from bad to worse. A lot of people in the middle class, especially those who are small business owners and entrepreneurs, they're looking at that $1,000 car payment between the $780 for the car and the $220 for the car insurance. And they're like, shit, no mames way. I don't know if I can afford this shit no more. And a lot of people just start, they're either trying to sell their car on Facebook Marketplace, or they're basically not paying the car payment anymore and hoping they don't get their car repossessed. Which again, for those of you guys who haven't been listening, car repossessions are at a 17-year high. Car repossessions are at a 17-year high. Car repossessions in this country, the car repos, right? The repo man. They used to have a TV show about them back in the day. Car repossessions in this country are at a 17-year fucking high. This is the most amount of car repossessions since like 2005, 2006, 2007. It is fucking disgusting. It is ridiculous. It is atrocious what is happening with car repos across this country. And they're basically repossessing all of these vehicles, and they're basically putting them at these auction lots. And that's why when you go to a lot of these auction lots, and you can see videos about them like on TikTok and YouTube, but there's like a lot of these auctioning sites where people are just auctioning off these vehicles that got repoed. And they used to only sell like 4,000 or 5,000 cars a month. Now they got like 20,000 cars on the auction lot going for sale every single month, right? And because a lot of people don't have money to buy like repoed cars right now because they're dealing with their own fucking stress right now, they're having just more and more inventory left and right now, month over month right now. So again, I think that's kind of what you're really seeing in the broader economic landscape. And so I think for the foreseeable future, you're going to continue to see more people, particularly in the middle class, especially in the lower middle class, are going to continue to probably sell their cars that they bought during the pandemic. And that's why every time you guys to go to Facebook Marketplace, what do you see? You see a bunch of cars going for sale on Facebook Marketplace. And by the way, I would point out, it's not just cheap cars that everyone's trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace. It's also premium cars. This is the most amount of Teslas I've ever seen on Facebook Marketplace in my fucking life. It used to be, because we used to track this data as well, when you would go on Facebook Marketplace here in Vegas, you would see like 1 or 2 Teslas for sale every single month. And the main reason people were selling them was because, I'm going to move to a different country, or me and my wife got divorced and I can't afford this no more, I don't want it no more, or my husband used to drive this car, I kept it in the divorce, and so fuck his bitch ass, I'm going to sell his Tesla and keep the money now, whatever the reason was. But here in Vegas, and we're a semi-big metropolitan city, right? we would only see 1 or 2 used Teslas for sale every single month on Facebook Marketplace. Now you see like 20, 30 of them bitches left and right every month. Like all the time, people are selling their Teslas on Facebook Marketplace right here in Vegas right now. So that's what it tells you as a leading indicator that, or a real-time indicator, excuse me, it's not just poor people who are suffering, right? And granted, I know some of you are going to say, well, poor people always suffer. That's why they're poor. They never have money anyways. So it doesn't matter if the economy is good or strong. Poor people are always going to be poor. Broke people are always going to be broke. People that ain't got no money never going to have no money. I get it, right? A lot of people like to shit on poor people, even though 75% of Americans are poor. But even when you look at the lower middle class and upper middle class, if people are on Facebook Marketplace and they're trying to sell their Beamer, they're trying to sell their Bentley, they're trying to sell their Mercedes Benz, they're trying to sell the fucking Tesla, they're selling the Rolls Royce, they're selling the Range Rover, they're selling the Audi, they're selling the, you know what I mean, the Buick, whatever it is. Like, that's not just all poor people cars. Some of the cars you see on Facebook Marketplace are premium fucking cars. And guess what? People are still trying to offload them. Why? Because they rather sell it for something than get it repoed for nothing. Let me say that again. They rather sell it for something than get it repoed for nothing. And so I think that's kind of something that you're seeing in the used car market. So again, when you get the CPI numbers and you get the CPI data and all these, bullshit ass, fake ass inflation reports, they're going to say, whoa, inflation is falling off a cliff. Inflation's been coming down for 7 straight months now. Yeah, because certain things like that, like used car prices, the reason used car prices are going down is because when everyone's trying to sell their fucking car that they bought during the pandemic and people don't really got cash like that, not like they once did, there's not a lot of buyers. Because again, poor people, they can't afford to buy premium cars on Facebook Marketplace. Poor people have to take the bus to work. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Most poor people don't even own a fucking car. Most people think it's more affordable just to take Uber than it is to get a brand new car or even get a used car because of all the maintenance fees and all the fucking, warranties and shit that goes behind it. So a lot of poor people don't even own their own car. A lot of poor people have to drive their family's car. A lot of poor people have to get a fucking carpool for a car. A lot of people have to take public transportation, especially if you live in a big city like fucking, San Francisco or New York or Chicago. A lot of people don't really have their own car. A lot of people are fucking driving, old ass beat up fucking hoopties right now, right? That's not to make fun of them. That's just to keep it real about it, right? And so when people say, oh, well, used car prices are coming down and, that's part of inflation because used car prices are inflationary. Yeah, that's true. I get it. But that's because people are suffering. That's because people are, fucking struggling. That's because people are, barely fucking surviving. And they can't afford to make those car payments right now with the car insurance. Because car insurance is also at a new all-time high. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people are just going to continue to offload their cars. But again, poor people aren't going to be the ones they sell it to because poor people don't have money for anything right now. Rich people aren't going to buy it because why the fuck is a rich person going to drive a fucking, a Buick? Why is a rich person going to go on Facebook Marketplace to buy a used Tesla? Fuck that shit. They're going to get the new Tesla. Why is a rich person going to go on Facebook Marketplace and buy your fucking, like your old fucking beat up hoopty? Why? Why would a rich person do that when they can afford to go to the dealership and get it brand new? Right? I know some rich people, they might be cheap with it, but most rich people, nah. They don't know what the fuck is wrong with this car. Why would they do that? Because if you got money like that and you're making millions like that, why the fuck would you ever really want to buy a used car? Unless it's a classic or something like that. But no one's going to buy your fucking Toyota. No one's going to buy your Nissan Altima. No one's going to buy your Honda Civic. No one's going to buy your bitch-ass Subaru. No one's going to buy your fucking old-ass Camaro. No. Rich people, they got the fucking, Rich people, they got the fucking Bugatti. They got the Rolls Royce. They got the Lamborghini. They got the 911 Porsche. They got the Huracan. They got the fucking this. They got the fucking that. Trust me, they're not on Facebook Marketplace looking for a fucking, a fucking hoopty to ride in. They're not. So all these people who bought these cars during the pandemic in 2020, 2021, who are they really selling their used cars to? Mostly lower middle class and maybe upper middle class who needs like a second and a third car right now. But how many of those people in the upper middle class and lower middle class really got money like that right now, especially for a used car? Not everybody. Some of them, yeah, but not all of them. So it's a small subset market. There's not really a lot of people in the market for a used car right now. And more importantly, there's not a lot of people in the used car market who have money for a used car right now. And I think that's really the key, question. And so when you have like hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people across the country who are trying to sell their used cars, but there's only like a handful of people who are, who have money to buy a used car and who are interested in buying a used car, particularly your bitch ass used car. Now all of a sudden there's like this price gauging that's happening, or price, war that's happening. And now if there's 10 people trying to sell their Tesla, one guy's going to say, well, I'll sell mine for 50,000. And then the next guy's going to be like, well, I'll sell mine for 46,000. Well, I'll sell mine for 44. Well, I'll sell mine for 42 then. Well, I'm going to sell mine for 39 then. Fuck it. Well, I'll sell mine for 29 then. And then everyone just starts lowering their prices left and right, because at the end of the day, what did we just say? These people would rather sell their car for something than get it repoed for nothing. And that's the pain you're seeing right now in the economy by the real average American. So when people ask me, like, do I think inflation is going to keep coming down? Yeah, absolutely. Because used car prices, among other things, are also going to continue to keep coming down, right? Then you look at other things, like whether it's airline prices or fucking Knott's Berry Farm prices or Six Flag Park prices or fucking Chuck E. Cheese prices, like whatever it is you want to look at. Even hotel prices, right? Not the expensive hotels, because rich people are always going to go to the 5-star resorts. But if you look at a lot of like these Motel 6 prices and the Hilton and the Marriott, again, places that attract the middle class, upper middle class and lower middle class, I think you're going to continue to see, price cuts happen there as well. Because they're going to try to make as much money as they can this summer, because I think in the fall, that's when things are going to just get absolutely disgusting. And so this summer, I think you're going to see a lot of these hotels start to cut prices, because they're going to be competing with each other more than ever before. Again, during a pandemic, 2020, 2021, during the quote unquote great reopening, when everyone wanted to go out, they were sick and tired of fucking lockdowns and everything was closed and you couldn't go here and you couldn't go there. Once we got into 2021 and even 2022, quite frankly, even though most people were mostly just relying on credit cards. But the point is, in 2021 and 2022, people wanted to go out that summer. People wanted to go have fun those summers. They wanted to go here. They wanted to go there. And all the hotels were fucking just packed to the motherfucking max last summer and the summer before that. But this summer, I don't think they're going to be as packed. And I think you're going to see a lot more just like empty hotel rooms this summer. And so in order to make sure that these hotels make some money rather than no money, they're going to start lowering prices this summer. Maybe not drastically, maybe not significantly. It depends really on the hotel chain. Again, if you're a 5-star resort, you don't have to lower prices, because rich people are always going to spend, because they got it like that. Let's just call it what it is. Rich people really do be getting paid like this. But when you look at the middle class and below, that Motel 6 bullshit, oh yeah, they're going to be cutting down prices. Because again, like, if there's not as many, and that's the key word here, if there's not as many people buying used cars, and there's not as many people going on vacation this summer, and people aren't taking as many vacations this summer compared to last summer or the summer before that, and people really aren't as active as they were last summer and the summer before that, now all of a sudden, a lot of these restaurants, a lot of these bars, a lot of these hotels, a lot of these resorts, a lot of this fucking, clubs, all of a sudden, there's still people there, but there's not as many. And there's still a lot of competition between these small businesses. So I think as a way to attract, more customers, they're going to start to lower prices, because they rather make a little bit less money than have no one show up at all and make no money. And so again, this is why I think the used car market is so indicative of the broader economy, because there's really not that many people who are, one, interested in your bullshit product and services, and two, have the money to spend on your bullshit product and services, and three, are willing to spend it. Because I also think there's a lot of people in the middle class and upper middle class who do have money, and they might have like 5, 6,000, 10, 15,000, 20, 25,000. Fuck it, they might have 50,000. But they don't really want to spend it right now. They're probably not going to want to spend it this summer. They're going to want to hold on to that shit, because they know if things go from bad to worse, They want to be able to have that money to fall back on. So I think a lot of people this summer are going to, hopefully start to cut back spending, and they're going to dial back on shit, and they're going to basically just try to save money, kill debt, fix their bitch ass credit scores, improve their FICO scores, save up money for a down payment on a house, whatever it is. And that's just some people, because again, most people are stupid and they're just going to spend their money on stupid shit anyways, and that's fine. Some people are meant to stay poor forever. It just is what it is now. We've all come to accept that fact. But I think some people, the smart people, they're going to be smart with their money. And I think you're going to see a lot of people try to stay home this summer and try to save their money, save up a cash position, just in case, right? Even if things don't fall off a cliff, you know what I mean? They're still going to want to be able to say that they have some money saved up in case something happens in their own life, in case they want to take advantage of a buying discount opportunity of a lifetime, this summer or this fall. So I think a lot of people, the smart people, are going to try to save their money this summer. So even though they have money to go on vacations, even though they have money to go out and eat, even though they have money to go to the strip club, even though they have money to go out to fucking Knott's Berry Farm or Six Flags or Chuck E. Cheese, even if they have money to fucking do this, have money to do that, go here, go there, go everywhere, I think a lot of people in the middle class are going to start to dial it back this summer. And at the very least, they're going to use that money to kill off their debt, or they're going to use that money to try and save it this summer. And so we'll see how all of this plays out. But again, I just don't think there's really that much demand out there. Because one, there's, kind of like the real estate market. Everyone wants to own their own house, but how many people even qualify for a home loan right now? Because most people's credit scores are not only disgusting, but their debt to income ratios are fucking atrocious. This is why when you talk to the average real estate agent, the average real estate agent out there, who by the way isn't making as much money as they once did either, but when you talk to the real estate agents, they'll say, oh yeah, people are still buying, there's still demand, there's still people out there who are looking. Yeah, but is it as many as they used to be? Fuck no. Right? And more importantly, what's going on with the average entry-level buyers? Because most of the people who are out here buying real estate, I don't want to say it's only rich people, but for the most part, it's upper middle class, rich people, and people who already own their own homes who are rolling over equity from one property onto another. That's mostly who's involved in the real estate market these days. It's not poor people. It's not lower middle class people. It's not fucking low income people. And it's definitely not people with fucked up credit scores and fucked up debt to income ratio people. Hell no. So when you talk to the average real estate agent, ask them, hey, among all your entry-level buyers, what's the average debt-to-income ratio looking like right now? And they'll tell you it's fucking it's disgusting. It's atrocious. It's a fucking horror show. Most people's debt-to-income ratios fucking suck. They're garbage right now because everyone's stacking up so much credit cards, so much debt, and just loans on top of loans on top of loans and all that other bullshit. And then for some reason, they still want to go out this weekend and party. They're still going to go out this summer and travel. Like, bro, your whole life is burning around you. You're going to be poor forever. And they just say, fuck it, gotta live my life to the fullest now, bro. I'm like, all right, bro. Oh, when you're 45, still working at Taco Bell. When you're 55, working at Burger King. When you're 65, still working at a used car dealership. Don't get mad at me, bro. Like, that's kind of like the mindset I have with these people. It's like, I get it. You want to enjoy your life and live your life to the fullest while you're young. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, bro, do you have to go out every weekend? Do you have to spend all your money? Do you really you can't spend 1 or 2 years of your life building a portfolio? You can't spend 1 or 2 years of your life fixing your credit score? You can't spend 1 or 2 years of your life saving money for a down payment on a home? I'm not asking you to spend the next 10 years of your life locked up under house arrest. I'm saying, bro, you can't sacrifice at least 1 or 2, maybe 3, 4 years? I mean, damn, at this rate, we're all going to live to be 100. The difference is I'm willing to sacrifice 4 or 5 years. You guys don't want to sacrifice 5 minutes. It's okay being poor for 100 years. I don't get it. I'm not asking you guys for the world's biggest sacrifice. I'm not asking you guys to be Jesus and sacrifice yourself on the cross for each and every single one of us so you can forgive us for our sins, so God can show us mercy, so God can fucking forgive us, so God can fucking love us. No. Jesus did that for us so we can be here today. And some of you bitches still won't accept him into your life. That's fucking bullshit, America. But it's okay. It's okay. You know what I mean? Good things come to those who wait, and everyone else will just fucking burn and die. I have no mercy for them. I have no patience for them, and I have no sympathy for them. God put me in your life for a reason. If you're listening to my podcast right now, it's probably meant to be. But I don't know. Maybe that's just philosophical. Maybe that's just good thinking. Maybe that's just some religious overtones I like to spread on this podcast. But the point is, that's something I believe in. I am a God loving, God fearing, and God worshiping man. Everyone else can burn in hell. Anyways, so can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah? Can I get a Jesus? Thank you, Lord. Thank you for doing what you did for us. Even though some of these bitches still don't care about you. It is okay. They'll find out the hard way later. So, I think that's kind of what's indicative of this economy, and I think that's why the used car market is so important in this economy, because I think it's a good like macro indicator, it's a good leading indicator, and it's just kind of a good reference point, if you will, for a lot of other things that are going on in this country, whether it's the real estate market / housing market, whether it's, Six Flags, whether it's travel, whether it's leisure, whether it's entertainment, whether it's hospitality, whether it's the strip club, the bars, the raves, the fucking, all that stuff, hotels, travel, resorts, vacations, going to the bar, going to Vegas, going to CDC, like all of it. The used car market is very like emblematic of what's going on in the broader economy. There's a lot of people who are trying to sell their shit because they rather sell it for something than nothing, because they either need the money right now or they just can't afford the payments right now. It's either one or the other. You either need the money bad or you just don't want to have to make that payment anymore bad, right? So it's one of those two things. But again, there's not that many buyers who are A, qualified or have the money to do it, B, who are interested in fucking doing it, and C, who are willing to fucking do it. Because some people might be interested, but they might want to wait till later because they want to see if things get worse. So there's a difference between interested and willing. A lot of people are interested in loose pussy, but not everyone's willing to fucking risk their marriage for it. You guys see my point? I think that's a great example. So that's kind of what I see, like in the buyer side. Again, whether it's real estate, stock market, crypto, Bitcoin. Why did most people sell their Bitcoin? Why did most people sell their crypto? Why did most people sell their Tesla stock or their Apple stock or their Bitcoin stock or their Shibu or their Dogecoin or their Google or their Microsoft or their Facebook, their Nvidia, their AMD, their NEO, their ABML, whatever. You pick a ticker symbol. Why did most people sell that shit last summer and last year and even, towards the end of last year? Why are people pulling money out their Roth IRAs? Why are people liquidating their 401ks? Why are people maxing out credit cards? Why are people pulling loans left and right? Why are people out here asking their mama for a motherfucking loan right now? Asking their siblings if they can borrow some money right now? Asking their coworkers if they can spot them for lunch this weekend? Why are people fucking borrowing and pulling out money out the motherfucking ass? Why, America? Why? Because they need the fucking money and they're selling shit because they can't afford to hold on to it anymore because it's too expensive to own anymore. And that's why they have to sell it at low prices, because how many people are actively buying right now? Rich people, yeah, for the premium shit, not that cheap shit, for the premium shit, right? That's why rich people are investing in Bitcoin, rich people are investing in Tesla, rich people are buying Apple stock, but are rich people investing in GameStop? Are rich people investing in fucking AMC? Are rich people investing in Shibu right now? No, not really. So rich people are buying that premium shit, that premium product, and that premium service, the filet mignon, not that fucking, that Walmart, Chuck E. Cheese, Burger King, Arby's, we have the meat bullshit. They're going to the 5-star dinner, 5-star resort, 5-star restaurant, 5-star product, 5-star services. You know what I mean? The fucking filet mignon, the upper room, the upper middle room, but not that cheap, low shit, not that Motel 6 bullshit, not that Chuck E. Cheese raggedy ass mouse shit, not that fucking poor people product and services shit. Hell nah. They want that premium shit. And that's why they're investing in the good stocks, the fucking Bitcoins and the cryptos that actually do something, and the blue chip stocks on the stock market, and all the real estate in the good real estate markets, not the fucking hood, not the fucking barrio, not in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. They're investing in real estate in premium neighborhoods, premium communities, and premium housing markets, not the middle of fucking Barstow. Get the fuck out of here. So, and so that's why the buyers, right, for, all the cheap shit, there's not really a lot out there. Because again, 3 reasons. And I want you guys to remember this before we move on this podcast. They either A, don't have the money for it, or B, they have the money and they might be interested, but they're not willing to do it. Or 3, they just don't care right now because they're too busy focused on their own bullshit. So I think that's kind of what you're seeing in the used car market. And I think that's indicative of a lot of markets, whether it's hotels, hospitality, leisure, travel. Again, a lot of rich people, they don't buy airline tickets. Why? Because they have a private jet. So a lot of these like airlines who focus on, again, the middle class, lower middle class in particularly, right? They're going to start to do price wars, and all of a sudden they're going to compete, and Southwest is going to compete with JetBlue, and then JetBlue is going to compete with American, and everyone's going to slowly start dropping prices, not because they want to, but because they rather sell the seat on the plane for some money than have it be an empty seat and make no money. Same thing with a lot of these cheaper hotel rooms. Again, 5-star resorts are still going to make money. Rich people will always pay premium money for premium product and services. But the other ones that focus on the lower middle class, the dirty, 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 raggedy ass motherfuckers, oh yeah, there's going to be price wars there this summer, in my opinion. So, with all this in a nutshell, so what do I think is going to happen with inflation soon? Same thing I've been saying for the last 6-7 months. I think it's going to continue to come down, and I think it's going to tumble, and I think it's going to crumble, and I think it's going to fall off a motherfucking cliff. I think inflation is dropping. But the problem is, the bears would say, what the fuck does that have to do with core inflation? Because we get it, General. And this is something that I've been screaming about also for the last 9 to 12 months. We get it. Used car prices falling off a cliff. Maybe Chuck E. Cheese prices start coming down again. Maybe one day it'll be affordable for a family to take their kids to Disneyland, and it's not going to be a $2,000-$3,000 trip. Maybe one day people will be able to do it for less than $1,000. Maybe, just maybe, especially if the unemployment rate skyrockets. So yeah, maybe all these things for the middle class and lower middle class start coming down again soon. Maybe, just maybe, that's true. But does that mean rent prices are going to come down again soon? Does that mean food prices are going to come down even more? Does that mean gas prices are going to start rolling over more? What's going on with core inflation? Not that Chuck E. Cheese bullshit, not Six Flags, not Knott's Berry Farm, not a vacation to Honolulu, not a fucking family road trip to fucking Cancun, not fucking, you know what I mean, used car prices. What about that core inflation prices? The stuff that you actually need to live, the things that you have to buy to survive, the things that you have to buy every day, every week, and every month in order not to fucking die. Food, water, gas, electricity, motherfucking rent, homie. What's going on with those prices? And I think that's the part of CPI, and that's the part of inflation that remains, as the Fed would like to call it, very, very sticky, because it's not really coming down a lot, right? And again, I live in a semi-big metropolitan city, but when I look at rent prices in Vegas, they're not really coming down that much. I mean, they're coming down a little bit, but I don't think any real estate agent in America would say rent prices are falling off a cliff. Used car prices are falling off a cliff because everyone's getting rid of those, you know, and I get it. They probably shouldn't have spent that money during the pandemic on a car payment that they can't even afford that much, especially, you know what I mean, when they were basing their income on a good economy. So I get that part of the equation, but the other part is everyone's selling their used cars, and there's not a lot of people that, again, have the money and are willing to spend the money on it, right? Some people have the money, some people don't. But even the ones that do, they're either not interested or they're not willing. So it doesn't even fucking matter. So that's why you have all these people selling. And if there's not a lot of people who are buying, all of a sudden they start competing with each other and they start lowering their prices left and right. And I think that's going to continue to happen throughout the summer. So, and by the way, all of this is happening and the unemployment rate hasn't even skyrocketed yet. So what happens if and when it does? Then what's going to happen to used car prices? That's when it becomes catastrophic, in my opinion. So anyways, though, but when you look at rent prices and food prices and gas prices, water, electricity, gas, you know, Netflix prices, right? Because if everyone's going to stay at home this summer, their kids got to do something to be entertained. So most parents are just going to tell their kids to play Xbox and watch Netflix. Again, I'm not telling you this is how the world should be. I'm telling you how it is going to motherfucking be this summer. Most parents aren't going to have money to take their kids out. Most parents aren't going to have the means and resources to go on vacations this summer. So what are they going to do? They're going to tell their kids to sit their ass home, play PlayStation all day, play video games all day, watch YouTube all day, and watch Netflix all day because they can't afford to do nothing else, especially when it's hot as balls outside this summer. They're going to basically stay home and enjoy the AC all day. They can't go on a cruise. They can't go on a vacation. They can't take their kids to the beach. They can't go to Knott's Berry Farm. They can't afford to go to Six Flags every day. So what are most poor people going to tell their kids to do this summer? Better sit your ass at home and enjoy that AC. You know what I mean? Like, and again, rich people are still going to go out, enjoy that premium shit because they got premium fucking income. You don't. Just is what it is, America. So I think, yeah, overall inflation will continue to come down, and that's something that makes the bulls happy. Something that makes the bears angry is that core inflation is not fucking moving. Core inflation, food, water, gas, electricity, fucking rent prices are still too motherfucking high. America, it's still too fucking high. Again, most of you guys listening to me tonight don't even own your own home. Most of you guys listening to me don't even have a house. Most of you guys listening to me tonight live in a fucking shitty ass condo, a shitty ass apartment complex that's probably ghetto as fuck, or you know what I mean? You live at your mama's house right now. Most of you guys can't afford to live on your own right now. And so when I ask you guys, hey, how's rent prices in Chicago? How's rent prices in LA? How's rent prices in San Bernardino, San Fernando, San Francisco, San Diego, Temecula, OC, Riverside, Oceanside, fucking Anaheim? How's rent prices in Texas? How's rent prices in Chicago? How's rent prices in New York? How's rent prices in Miami, Florida right now? What do fucking people tell me? What do people text me? What do people email me across the country and around the motherfucking world every night? What do they say to the general? They say, General, it is still too fucking high. The landlord still raised my rent next month, bro. It's fucking bullshit. I thought we was in a recession, General. They just raised my rent prices once again. Otra vez. Ah, no chingues, güey. I can't believe that motherfucker asked for an extra $200 every month. You gotta be fucking kidding me. But again, when you go to a lot of these big metropolitan places, New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, San Diego, San Francisco, San Fernando, San Bernardino, Riverside, Oceanside, Temecula, motherfucking Hawaii, and even down there in motherfucking Puerto Rico. Shout out to all the Boricuas listening to me tonight. You know, when you look at rent prices in big cities, they're still too motherfucking high. They're not coming down, especially in the good neighborhoods, especially in a gated community, especially on the Upper West Side. Now, if you live on the ghetto-ass East Side, then maybe they coming down a little bit. But when you live on the nice side of town, when you live on the good side of town, when you live in that fucking, oh my God, Starbucks every day kind of town, oh hell no. Hey, man, there ain't no rent prices coming down over there, homie. Fuck no. They're still raising rent, bro. Fuck out of here with that shit. So when I look at those rent prices, like, nah, they're not coming down at all. Not even a little bit. Now, on the poor side, maybe they come down, $100. But is $100 really going to change your life right now? Not really. No, not really. That's not even enough to pay for the fucking U-Haul. Like, $100 less a month, that's not really, like, life-changing, to be honest. Right? So poor people are like, bro, we don't need rent prices to come down $20, $30. We need rent prices to come down $300, $400. But does any real estate agent in America see rent prices coming down $300, $400, $500 anytime soon? Fuck no, they ain't. Hell nah. Don't nobody see rent prices coming down $300, $400, $500. Fuck out of here with that. Only way that happens is if we go into a recession. Oh, wait. The ultimate question, isn't it? But as far as right now, as far as today, as far as here and now, right now, rent prices ain't coming down shit. Not so far. Now, some of them in the ghetto area, they might have come down like $100. Everyone's getting evicted on welfare, food stamps, Section 8. Landlords are getting pissed at these motherfuckers who just continue to refuse to pay their rent, right? I get it. But on the west side of town, on the nice side of town, on the upper middle class part of town, hell no, rent prices ain't coming down shit. If anything, especially in big metropolitan cities, because they're so overflooded, overpopulated, it's fucking disgusting, right? In those markets, yeah, rent prices are still probably skyrocketing. Those landlords don't give a fuck, because for every one person who can't afford to pay that and you higher rent, there's probably 4, 5, 6 other families that could and would pay the higher rent. Why? Because again, we have a housing shortage in this country. We do not have enough homes. We do not build enough homes. And higher mortgage rates, and I do think they're going to continue to go higher. I still expect 8% mortgage rates at some point this year. I thought it would have happened at the end of last year. We came close at the end of last year, but we didn't hit it. But, you know what I mean? I took that loss, and I'm going to basically double up and re-up, and I'm going to fucking double down and say it's going to happen this year instead. So I'm not giving up on the 8% mortgage rate prediction. But with that being said, even if 8% mortgage rate does happen and I'm right, and when I'm right, I'm going to take a big-ass victory lap all over this motherfucker and take a fat-ass caca on all these real estate agents' heads who said it was impossible. But if and when mortgage rates get to 8%, I would continue to also, because I have to reiterate this, higher mortgage rate does not kill demand for homes. It only suppresses demand for homes because it makes it harder for people to qualify for a home loan in their local real estate market. And then the only people who can buy real estate in their local real estate market are the upper middle class, the rich, the super rich, the filthy rich, and all the institutional investors. Everyone else is basically going to get assed out, fucked out to dry, and all the entry-level buyers are basically going to get stuck at home or stuck in their apartment building because they won't qualify for a home loan big enough to compete in their local real estate market. So again, higher mortgage rate does not kill demand, it only suppresses demand. Because at the end of the day, you have an entire generation of Gen Zs that are graduating high school and college, and half a generation of millennials who are under 30 years old who need to move the fuck out of their mama's house, who need to get out of their dirty ass, shitty ass, ghetto ass apartment, and who need to fucking grow the fuck up, move out in life, and live their own fucking life, and stop sucking on their mama's titty, always asking them for money and loans right now. They need to grow the fuck up, be a man, and go out there and pay their own motherfucking bills, pay their own fucking rent, pay their own fucking car prices, fix their own shitty ass credit score, improve their fucking FICO score, save up money for a down payment on a home, build a fucking retirement plan, get a job, get a career that offers a pension plan, get their life together, get their shit together. And I think that's why they force their kids to listen to this podcast, because I'll put my foot up in their ass forever until they hurry up and grow the fuck up. But once again, neither here nor there. At the end of the day, higher mortgage rates does not kill demand. It only suppresses demand. And I think we need to acknowledge that. So even though I'm here as a mega fucking bear calling for 8% mortgage rates, higher interest rates, and more importantly, higher for longer on interest rates, I think the most important thing to remember is this isn't demand being killed. It's only being suppressed. Because at the end of the day, these people can't live at their mama's home forever. They got to move out someday. You know what I mean? And the only reason they haven't is because they have shitty-ass credit scores, shitty-ass FICO scores, no money for a down payment on a home, and they don't qualify for shit in their local real estate market. $200,000 home loan isn't really going to buy you anything. Maybe a condo at best, but that's it. You know what I mean? And so I think that's kind of the predicament a lot of, entry-level buyers, first-time home couples, you know what I mean, are really kind of experiencing right now, where they want to buy a home, but they just either don't qualify for enough of a home loan, or, you know what I mean, they don't qualify for a home loan at all because they started using credit cards and pulling out loans, which is fucking over their debt-to-income ratio, so they don't even qualify for a home loan right now. And so I think that's what a lot of potential entry-level buyers are facing right now, and that's kind of a barrier to entry. It doesn't mean they don't want to buy a home. It just means that they can't afford to right now, or they're just not qualified right now. Again, that their want to buy a home didn't go away. It's just being delayed right now, and that's why a lot of young couples are kind of frustrated and they're having marital problems right now. Because, you know what I mean, like they're getting their hours cut back at work. They feel a lot of social anxiety and social depression. Everyone feels like they have to go to college and get a master's degree these days, even though it requires pulling out a lot of student loans these days, because colleges are still raising college tuition these days, which is another fucking bullshit ass story going on in this country that no one ever talks about enough, in my opinion. And you know what I mean? And I think a lot of them want to have their own careers. They want to have their own lives. They want to live their own lives. They want to hurry up and move the fuck out so they can live their own lives. But in this current economic environment, in this current, political environment, in this current cultural environment, it's a lot of depression, it's a lot of anxiety, it's a lot of frustration, it's a lot of irritation, it's a lot of drama, and it's a lot of bullshit in this environment. And I think that's something that really frustrates a lot of young people, especially younger millennials, and this first wave of Gen Zs that are starting to graduate high school and college. they feel that pressure where they just feel like, it's never enough. I get the associates, they tell me to get a bachelor's. I get a bachelor's, they tell me that I need a master's. I get a master's, they say I need a PhD. I get the PhD, they say I need 10 years of work experience. I get the 10 years of work experience, they say you don't know enough people, you need to keep networking. And it just feels like it's on and on and on and on. You know what I mean? They tell me to buy a home even though it's going to take me 30 years to pay off. They tell me to go to college even though the student loans are going to take me 40 years to pay off. You know what I mean? And it just feels like you're going to school, you're getting educated, you're working, and then during the entire process, all you're doing is getting into more debt, going into more debt. And at the end of the day, they're working these jobs that they don't even want to work anymore, but they do it because they need the fucking money, because they got bills, wife, and kids to fucking pay. And, then they end up living their entire life in fucking depression with fucking financial anxiety every day, because all they wanted to do was have fun. All they wanted to do was enjoy their life. All they wanted to do was fucking live. But all the older people are like, nah, bro, this is living. Working paycheck to paycheck, hands on your fucking knees till the day you die. Because that's what we teach our financial slaves in this country. Again, America's not a country, it's a fucking financial plantation. It's a motherfucking business. And then the business of financial slavery. And 80% of Americans have to work as financial slaves their whole life, so the top 10, 15% can enjoy their best life every day. That's what this is all about. So, once again, I have to come out here on the podcast as the one, the only, the motherfucking general, put my foot up your ass, scream at you guys every day, yell at you guys every night, and tell you guys it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you invest. It's not about paying interest, it's about getting interest, right? Fix your debt, fix your credit, kill your debt, fix your FICO score, save up down payment on a home, save up some cash, homie. Most of you guys listening to me tonight have less than $300 in your savings account. That's bullshit, and you fucking know it. You know what I mean? And then again, everyone says, oh yeah, I want to invest, financial independence. And then I look at your fucking Facebook timeline and your Instagram account and your TikTok account, and all I see every single post, every single night, every single weekend is you spending money on stupid shit, and you spending money on stupid shit, and you spending money on stupid shit. And then you show up to work Monday morning all hot and heated. I hate working here. I hate working paycheck to paycheck. I hate this bitch-ass supervisor. I hate this bitch-ass company. I hate my fucking life. Bro, but when you had a little bit of money, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be deposit after deposit after deposit, interest on the interest on the interest. You act like you're going to get rich in like 2 years. You act like you're going to get rich in 2 months. You act like you're going to get rich in 2 years. Warren Buffett didn't become a millionaire until he was 40. Bill Gates didn't become a millionaire until he was 30. Elon Musk didn't become a millionaire until he was 25. Like, it takes time, homie. But, trust me, you think they regret their decisions today, or you think they're living their best life today? I'm just saying, America. So, anyways, I think that's kind of, what's going on here. I think the bulls are happy because inflation's coming down, and it will continue to come down, in my opinion, because you're going to start to see a lot of these businesses compete with each other. Because, again, it's better to make some money than no money. So whether it's hotels, whether it's airlines, whether it's fucking casinos, whether it's fucking, theme parks like Six Flags and Knott's Berry Farm, you know what I mean? Overrated places like Disneyland, in my opinion. Whether it's the bars here in Vegas, the nightclubs, the raves, you're going to start to see the ones who have to compete with each other for, especially when their target customer is middle class and below, you're going to start to see price wars, and everyone's going to be cutting prices because, again, they'd rather make some money than no money. And then meanwhile, in the meantime, in between time, all the expensive places, all the premium places for premium products and services, all the fucking bougie ass places, they're still going to be skyrocketing their fucking prices this summer. Why? Because rich people don't give a fuck. Rich people always going to eat in this country because rich people were able to survive and escape financial slavery. They escaped the financial plantation, and they escaped fucking poverty in this nation. And now they make millions of dollars every single year. Some of them make millions of dollars a month. You really think they care if prices go up 10% or down 10%? These motherfuckers are living their best life no matter what, because the bottom 80% will always work on their hands and knees to make sure that they live their life happy. Not telling you the way the world should be, here to tell you the way the world motherfucking is. So, yeah. But then that brings us back to core inflation, which is still making the bears mad. And I think what makes the bears mad is the average American, again, 80% who live paycheck to paycheck, they're looking at these higher food prices, gas prices, rent prices, electric prices, especially in the summer. Electricity is going to skyrocket like always, right? Because it's going to be hot as balls outside and everyone's going to be stuck inside, and poor people are just going to have to pay higher electricity bills. Rich people don't give a fuck about that. They live in a mansion. They make millions of dollars a year. But poor people who are living on food stamps, welfare, and credit cards, you think they care about the electric bill? bill? Damn right they do. So, you know what I mean? They're going to just fucking turn off the AC and just open up the windows. They can't afford that shit no more. So, and I think those are the ones who really care about core inflation the most. And I think that's the one that the Fed is looking at. The Fed is looking at core inflation. And they're going to say, damn, yeah, used car prices fell off a cliff. Hotel prices are coming down. Airline prices are coming down. Casino prices are coming down. You know what I mean? And they'll probably continue to come down, especially if we do our job and increase the unemployment rate, which I think they will. That's literally their fucking mandate right now. But they're going to look at core inflation and they're going to say, oh, no, poor people are still suffering too much. I mean, yeah, they always suffer, but we can't let them suffer too much because then we'll have a revolution on our hands. No. We have to continue to lower prices. And they're going to continue to fucking keep at it with higher and higher interest rates. And even when they do pause, they're not going to pivot. They're going to leave interest rates higher for longer, which is going to be causing enough pain in and of itself, in my opinion. So I think the bears are looking at core inflation. They say, fuck used car, fuck casinos, fuck hotels, fuck resorts, fuck Six Flags, fuck Knott's Berry Farm, fuck your raggedy ass Chuck E. Cheese. We're looking at fucking rent prices, gas prices, water prices, electric prices. We're looking at core prices, shit that you can't live without, shit that you fucking need, shit that you gotta pay for or you fucking die in this country. And that is core inflation. And that core inflation is still too fucking high. It's not coming down meaningfully, not enough, not quick enough, not fast enough. When every single month it takes longer to come down is another month that poor people are getting destroyed, annihilated, and fucking massacred in this country. And so I think that's why the Fed has to continue with higher and higher interest rate hikes. And I don't think there is a pivot coming anytime soon. Maybe they pause. I think they'll pause in the summer, maybe early fall at the latest. They're going to pause summer or fall. But I don't think they're going to cut rates at all this year. And I think that's what the stock market is expecting. That's what the bond market is predicting. And that's what a lot of the bulls are hoping for. And sorry to tell you, I think all you're going to get this year is fucking nightmares. So that's kind of my opinion on that. And I think that's kind of what the stock market is trying to deal with right now. The stock market is basically playing a game of chicken with the Fed and is saying, basically, you guys got no balls. You guys don't have what it takes to send us into a recession. You guys don't have the balls to send us into a recession. You don't got the heart to do this to the economy. You don't have the soul to do this to the average American consumer. And you don't have the intestinal fortitude to keep going with these higher interest rate hikes. We think you're going to pause soon. And then once you pause soon, you're going to start to cut interest rates in a meaningful, significant rate this year. And it's all going to happen soon. The bulls are literally saying that the Fed is going to start cutting interest rates quick, fast, and in a hurry, and they're going to just fucking collapse interest rates soon. Not necessarily back down to zero, but they're going to cut interest rates huge and massively this year. And the bears are like, why? Core inflation is still too fucking high. But again, I think that's why the leading indicators are so important, because the leading indicators that tell us what's about to happen before it actually happens are literally flashing red. They're screaming red. Ladies and gentlemen, every leading economic indicator in this country is bleeding fucking red. And it is telling us that this is not only going to be the most imminent recession in American history, they're saying that this is going to be severe. They're saying this is no longer a mild recession. They're saying this is going to be deep as fuck recession. They're saying that 6 months ago, we all agreed that this isn't going to be 2008, 2009 again. Now there's some leading indicators that are suggesting it might be even worse. And that's why a lot of people went from becoming bears to perma bears to mega bears. Because these leading indicators are telling you, screaming you, and begging the Fed to stop, begging the Fed to pivot, and praying to God that the Federal Reserve doesn't continue with their mission. Because the leading indicators, ladies and gentlemen, they're saying it's about to become apocalyptic in this motherfucker. We'll see what ends up happening. At the end of the day, though, in the short term, in the near term, in the foreseeable term, I don't see a fucking pivot. I see maybe a pause. Not in May. I think they're going to do another 25 still. I think that's still what consensus is. Even though the bulls said they were going to pause after December. The bulls said we were going to get a pause in February. The bulls said we were going to get a pause in fucking April. Right? And then every single time CPI came in hotter than expected, or still too hot for the market to digest, they said, okay, never mind, maybe one more 25. And then we came into April. No, they're going to pause in April. Oh, never mind, they'll probably do one more 25. And then it felt like after the regional bank crisis, they said, oh no, the Fed has to pause and pivot now. Ah, all right, maybe one more 25. And it feels like they just keep changing the fucking goalposts. Now here we are again, and now I think this time the Bulls aren't even saying pause. The Bulls are saying, fine, just do one more 25. But that better be it. That better be enough. They're going to start cutting interest rates in July. They're going to start cutting interest rates in August. They're going to start cutting interest rates soon, General. The interest rate cuts are coming soon. There's going to be a motherfucking pivot. Leading indicators, leading data, leading reports. It's all going downhill. They need to cut interest rates. Pivot. Pivot soon. And the Bears are like, nah, the Fed's going to do what they always do. They're going to fuck this up. They're going to send us into a recession. It's probably going to be a deeper than expected recession, just like higher than expected inflation, and just like higher interest rates for longer. I think it'll be a deeper than predicted recession. And I think it is going to be catastrophic. I remain a bear. I remain a mega fucking bear. And when it happens, I won't be here to talk shit about it on the podcast. Because me and my family are going on vacation soon. Me and my family are going out on this summer soon. And me and my family are going to enjoy our best life soon. So this summer in June, July, August, when I shut down this podcast, because I'm going on a 3-month vacation, because the General does what the fuck he wants, when the fuck he wants, because my portfolio works for me now, because I spent almost a decade not spending money on stupid shit and buying assets and investments and stacking my portfolio to the motherfucking ceiling. Me and my family going to go out. Me and my family going on a 3-month vacation. Me and my family going to travel. And you guys who refuse to stop spending your money on stupid shit will be working out there in the hot ass sun, in the hot ass heat, boiling fucking hot in the streets, working paycheck to paycheck, all mad, all angry, all upset, on your hands and fucking knees for that bitch ass supervisor at that bitch ass company, working there in the fucking heat, in the hot ass sun, scorching hot, and you'll do it every single day for the entire fucking summer. Not because you want to, but because you're broke as fuck. And when the General told you to stop spending money on stupid shit, when the General told you to invest your stimulus, and the General told you to stack your investments in your portfolio, you said, nah, I'd rather go out and have fun. And now some of you guys are going to pay the consequences of having fun. Now you're going to work, paycheck to paycheck, hands on your knees, to the day you fucking die. Jesus died on the cross for everyone. Some of you still won't accept him into your life. I'll never try to be like Jesus. I'm never going to be God. All I am is a motherfucking general, put in your life by God. And I plan to be like Noah. I'm going to save a couple here and a couple there. And I'm going to let these rest of these bitches out there to fucking drown and die. Because I can't save people if they're not willing to take my hand. I can't help people if they're not willing to listen. And I can't beg people to save themselves when they don't even care about their own fucking future. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the path forward. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your way out. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the executive orders from your motherfucking general. Stock up your fucking cash, pay off your fucking debt, fix your fucking credit, save some fucking money now, and stop, for the love of God, spending your money on stupid shit, starting right the fuck now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for listening to the one, the only, the motherfucking general. Magallon Entertainment!
Psychic spies from China try how tender is that warrior waiting? Firstborn unicorn, hardcore soft porn. Dream of Californication. Dream of Californication. Marry the girl, be my ferry to the world, be my very own constellation. A teenage bride with a baby inside, getting high on information. And buy me a star on a boulevard, it's Californication. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. In Cobain, can you hear the Spears singing songs off station to station? And Alderon, not far away, it's Californication. Born and raised by those that raise control of population. Everybody's been there and I don't need no vacation. Firstborn unicorn, hardcore soft porn. Dream of Californication. Dream of Californication. Dream of Californication. Dream of Californication. Destruction leads to a very rough road, but it also breeds creation. An earthquake's out to a girl's guitar, that's just another good vibration. And time